So let's look at the science of this. So we've got this part of our prefrontal cortex, particularly the lateral side of the prefrontal cortex, is responsible for focus. So it's keeping us on task and keeping you focused on the particular direction that you're going in. The prefrontal cortex can hold the rest of the brain energetically in that state of focusing on task. So they're going to have what we call a high degree of executive control, meaning you can execute things in your brain very well because of the prefrontal cortex, which is the massive behind your forehead part of your brain that is very energetic in that endeavor. Now, here's that tension that I was talking about, dynorphins. Now, this is high in athletes and high achievers and other people of this nature with this personality type of conscientiousness, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. So that's a small piece of the brain back behind the forehead, back behind the main part of the prefrontal cortex. It's not so much important that it's there, but realize that it gets bigger in the people that endure things that they don't want to do. So being an athlete means pushing yourself into painful situations, and that causes these things called dynorphins to be released. And ironically, if you do it for a long time, it will also cause you to feel good at the end of it. That's like kind of the runner's high, where you feel pain and you push yourself deep into that pain. And then afterwards, you actually can sort of move the Overton window of tolerance towards that pain, so you can tolerate more and more. So an elite athlete can tolerate an immense amount of stress and pain, so that immense stress and pain actually becomes good stress and pain for them. Whereas for most people, that would be intolerable. They can tolerate it. So, and then when they tolerate it, they get a reward of endorphins. Does that make sense? So it's this mix of like, can I tolerate pain? You may have heard of things like cold therapy and things like that, where people immerse themselves in saunas for heat, or cold water for pain, and it increases your dynorphins, which inversely gives you an endorphin rush afterwards and gives you a greater sense of self-control and discipline. So this is an interesting sort of push and pull going on in the brain to cause this kind of characteristic to happen. So conscientiousness, as you could see, has this push and pull. I do a lot of hard work that most people go, oh, that hurts, but they get rewarded for it at the same time. And they've also have a high tolerance of this. So very interesting dynamic in our brain that is caused by this. This is something that Andrew Huberman was pointing out in one of his podcasts recently.